uh, definitely want your views on how we can integrate hydrogen to firm up the renewables as we move the path of 2030, when you see large amount of electric vehicles running on our streets and with almost 20% or 25% renewables into the grid. Over to you, Ranjit.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Sunil. It's a very important question that you asked, and at the moment, the path is not very clear to me actually as to how this will all happen. At the end of the day, at the moment, green hydrogen is slightly more expensive just to produce, and though we can see a path for green hydrogen to be the same as gray hydrogen or lower in the next 4 or 5 years, but we still need to, if we are going to use it in refineries, if we're going to use it in fertilizer, where you can create these green hydrogen plants, electrolyzers on location and use it on location, then it's fine. As soon as you start looking at transportation of hydrogen, because if you're going to use hydrogen for running vehicles, or if you're going to use hydrogen to run your electricity plant by combustion, then you are starting to look at transportation of hydrogen, and then that is a little bit more of a difficult issue to resolve. Though at the moment people are talking about converting hydrogen into ammonia and then transporting ammonia, because the transport of ammonia is fairly standardized transportation regime, and then reconverting it into hydrogen and using that. But just the loss of energy as you go from hydrogen to ammonia to hydrogen, and then to, or I should say, from energy as in from electricity to hydrogen to ammonia to hydrogen to electricity, the loss is tremendous, right? So therefore, basically you're putting in, for 1 kg of hydrogen, you're putting in 50 kilowatt hours, 50 units of electricity. And by the time you get back hydrogen, right, you have only 17 kilowatts of energy left. So 1/3 is left, 2/3 is lost on the way. And then when you convert it into electricity and then transmit it again, you are again looking at losses. So I'm not sure how easy that would be. On the electricity vehicle side, it perhaps is something which is more doable. Whether it is going to be better than electricity, I am not sure, because it seems that even few years from now, battery operated vehicles, electric vehicles, would still be cheaper than hydrogen cell vehicles. And if you're going to look at hydrogen cell vehicles only for long haul trucks and so on, then I don't know whether then scale would support the reduction in pricing that we are looking at. So I'm not fully sure how this whole thing is going to pan out, because obviously there are many moving parts in this, right? And sometimes the cost curves move in directions that are very difficult to predict 5 years, 10 years, 15 years into the future. And as the cost curves move, sometimes things that are not very clear at this point in time become clearer. So just to be brief, in a way, wherever hydrogen is being used as a basic raw material, to convert those facilities from using gray hydrogen to green hydrogen, I think is a fairly easy task, and that can perhaps be done at a small cost or no cost within the next 4, 5, 7 years. When you're looking at hydrogen becoming more widespread, as in being used in electric vehicles or vehicles, right? Or it's being used to generate electricity so that we can get 24/7 grid electricity, I'm not sure of the path. It is not looking so clear and clean at this point in time. But like I said, with technology, anything is possible.
Good, thank you. Ranjit, I have a couple of questions to you. The path for renewable is very clear. Even till 2030, the plan announced by the government is very clear. If you're going to see that kind of penetration, a 450 gigawatt plan of renewable by 2030, let us assume we fall short by 10-15% also. Still, the plan is extremely ambitious. With that kind of renewable energy into the grid, you would definitely need some spinning reserves to balance the grid. India has been short on hydro plants. more because of environmental concerns and our own regulation problems. And therefore, hydrogen, gas, battery storage are the options which people are looking at. How do you see this balancing happening? And you being one of the large players of renewables, and if you have a 10 gigawatt plans going forward, and you want to balance your energy, what are the sources you believe you will be able to take to give a firm power and a reliable power?
It's a very important thing that you are bringing up, Sunil, because again, like I said, to me, the the path to 24/7 renewable is fairly clear when you're looking at regular electric batteries that are charged by electricity, or through a pump storage facility or hydro, a regular hydro. I mean, not necessarily just pump storage, but regular storage hydro projects that India has. And perhaps the gas stuff that you're talking about, we have 25,000 megawatts of gas capacity in the country, which is not used at the moment. We could perhaps use that as a spinning reserve. I have not read any study, or I've not done any study to figure out whether just this battery intervention plus the hydro storage intervention plus pump storage intervention plus gas intervention is enough. I don't know. Though the fact is that we still have 200,000 megawatts of thermal capacity, which is not going away anytime soon. So we are still going to see that taper off, and it could take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to taper off. And in fact, one of the suggestions that we made to Senator Kerry, to Secretary Kerry today morning when we were meeting with him was this, that the US needs to help India retire coal projects, right? And we don't need central government, we don't need state government intervention there. Central government is the largest owner of thermal assets. But anyway, the fact is that at the moment there is thermal capacity which will act as something to stabilize the grid. And as the renewable capacity in the grid grows, we will have to use whatever we have to do that, because the problem of grid instability is upon us. I mean, it will happen in 2 or 3 years. It's not something that we are seeing far into the future. Right. So therefore, if you're looking at this problem 2, 3, 4 years from now, then obviously we cannot wait for the hydrogen ecosystem to develop to a level where it becomes cheap enough for green hydrogen to be used as a medium of storage.
Thank you. And I hope that India learns its lessons from California, which has been facing this grid issues so seriously, because there's been a widespread penetration of renewables in California. Thank you.